Hey KU fans, welcome back to KU Sports Extra here in Lexington, Kentucky at Rupp Arena. I'm Matt Tate, this is Benton Smith, and KU loses tonight 71-63 to number 8 Kentucky in a game that was worthy of the hype, exciting in times, and another road loss for Kansas.
Yeah, where they're 1-4 now,
right?
In road arenas.
True road games. Yeah.
The one win at Baylor, where Baylor made
barely,
that
barely
crazy, insane rally there at the end. KU still won. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of times it felt like KU Kentucky matchup and what you would want out of it.
For sure.
Dedrick Lawson going to work in the first half. I thought that ultimately in the second half, Kentucky's the amount of bodies they were able to throw into the paint, not only Reed Travis going to work inside, but PJ Washington and their guys off the bench. Richards blocking shots when he had 5 slots.
Right.
I mean, I think that just wore on Dedrick Lawson, and by the second half, he just wasn't able to be nearly as effective as he was in the first. And obviously, KU needs his offense, so I thought that was a huge part of what happened for KU tonight.
Sure, 11 points, 11 rebounds in the first half. He finishes with 20 and 15. Good numbers, great numbers. But yeah, Kentucky really adjusted, and it may have been, Self said it, you just said it, it may have been a little bit of him wearing down, but I thought Kentucky obviously made him a focal point. They really wanted to frustrate him and bother him and make it hard for him. It was hard for him. It was hard for everybody. Reed Travis, who had another big night, I don't remember what he had, 18 and 12 or something?
Yeah, 18 and 12. One of 3 guys with a double-double.
Yeah, right.
For Kentucky.
Dedrick gets his NCAA leading 14. Kentucky throws 3 double-doubles at you. You're not going to win that game. But in the first half, that was sort of the story there. I mean, everything Reed Travis got in the first half was hard.
And ones.
Yeah, right. Dedrick Lawson made it hard on him without fouling. He got long, and then they sort of flipped the script in the second half, and Kentucky's length bothered Dedrick Lawson. So outside of that, though, Kentucky just not only too many bodies, but Kansas didn't have another offensive option.
Right.
Quentin Grimes threw in a few shots.
Yeah.
Lagerald Vick threw in a couple late, but I thought Lagerald Vick really disappeared in this one for a senior who's played in so many big games and been here before, not only in this atmosphere and in this type of game, but literally on this floor. You need your senior leader scorer to do more than he did tonight, and he just didn't impact the game enough. And then Marcus Garrett, of course, 1 for 9. He's been so hot, it just wasn't his night offensively. When you throw those things together, it's just not enough support for Dedrick Lawson's offense, and that's going to be an L every time.
Yeah, Vic ends up with 10 points, but I mean, KU was down 10 before he hit his first 3-pointer of the night. So I mean, the game was basically as close to over as you could get when he finally hit a 3. Then he hit another one at the minute mark.
Right.
So that's 6 points in like the last 2 minutes when it really seemed like Kentucky had already won it at that point.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
That's where his points came from. Most of the night, really nothing from him, as you mentioned. As far as Marcus Garrett, I felt like he was another guy that was just affected by Kentucky's length. Because they're not only long inside with their bigs, their guards are huge.
Oh yeah.
Those wingspans that's just like, that's a prototypical Kentucky player,
Right.
Whether he's 6'5" or 7 foot, he has a 7 foot wingspan somehow.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's difficult to drive and score against. So I think Marcus Garrett had a little bit of trouble with that.
Yeah, he talked about that after the game. That was it. He said it's just different. The length we saw tonight is just different than what we've seen. Self talked about it too. The good news, they're not going to see it again. I mean, maybe down the road, but the Big 12 doesn't have this kind of length, night in, night out, every position.
That's the thing.
It's incredible. It is incredible. And all that being said, I thought KU really took on the identity of Lawson tonight. I thought he played so hard, he battled, he did all he could to try to survive those big guys for Kentucky. And I thought KU's guys battled. I mean, they weren't perfect, they had mistakes, they no-showed in some spots, but I thought they competed, and Dedrick said the same thing. He said, I was proud of the way we played, we competed, we played hard, those guys played hard too, and sometimes that's the result. One team wins, one team loses.
Yeah. Quentin Grimes had 13 points, hit 3 3-pointers. He needed a night like this.
Some big shots, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Key, timely threes.
Exactly. Moments in the game where it felt like Kentucky was about to create some real separation and KU had to get a score. He just confidently drained some.
Right.
And that's big because obviously we've documented his ups and downs throughout the year. I mean, it seems like it's just on a cyclical pattern at this point. Hey, here he comes. Oh, he disappeared. Oh, here he comes.
Right.
So at some point, KU's going to need for him to stay in the limelight and stay productive if they're going to really ever get to that ceiling that they keep chasing.
No doubt. Yeah, that's the key. They keep chasing it. I think tonight was such a good thing for them because it it really is another test. It's a measuring stick, right? They kind of know where they're at. I mean, this isn't the best Kentucky team you've ever seen, but they're good. They're a top 10 team. Now Kansas knows. We went into their place, played hard, wasn't quite good enough, so we've got to do X, Y, and Z to be sure that we're not only going to continue to play well in the Big 12 and have a shot at number 15 there, but also in the postseason. I mean, this team is still, we tell you this every time, but it is still a work in progress, and tonight was part of that. I think there's really a potential for this team to come out of this. The loss doesn't matter. It's one loss on a season that nobody will really remember. I mean, you know, these bragging rights in this game matters, but nobody's going to look back and say this one cost them their season or anything like that. Either way it would have gone, it wouldn't have done that. So I think that's a big thing. They have an opportunity to really lock in and go, okay, we didn't play as well as we should have there. We have to go to Texas Tuesday night, and we've got to play better. Texas might not be quite as good as Kentucky, but it's a Big 12 game, and all of a sudden that's important again. You know, they get 48 hours or 72 hours between now and then to kind of lock back in on that whole thing. But this is great. I mean, the coaches, you wrote about it earlier this week, they don't like this timing of this thing. But Self said it too. I mean, once the ball goes up and they're in this game and it's here, it's great. They love it. They coach hard against each other. The players compete. The fans are into it. The whole world's watching. I mean, what's not to love?
Right. Even if you're watching it at home on TV, I think there's just something about seeing that giant UK on the floor. Like, it just feels like it means more. It feels like it's a bigger game than it actually is. Right. So it's just a weird dynamic with this game and the timing of it. Because both coaches are like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
I don't care what happens outcome-wise, because we're in the middle of conference play, and this doesn't affect that.
Sure.
That's what our focus is. So, I don't know. I think that this could benefit KU. Like, I mean, you got to tell. I mean, 3 days from now when they're at Texas, those shots are going to feel a lot easier inside.
Oh yeah.
When you don't have those.
Or Texas, right?
I know. Yeah, right. Exactly. So I think there are ways that KU can kind of use this as a way to get better. If anything else, just, oh my God, we're not smothered every time we're going in for a layup.
Yeah, well, that's it too. I think the only way this one would have hurt is if one team or the other would have just got waxed.
Or if KU had been terrible turning the ball over, like it has been in other road games.
True.
I didn't think they were that bad that night.
No. Yeah, they competed, and if they would have come in here and stomped Kentucky, Calipari would have been a mess. He would have hated it, and it would have been hard on their team. If KU would have come in here and got ran out of the gym, that would have been hard to take. Even though you would say all those same things and all those right things, it would have hurt. It would have been one of those plants some doubt back here, right? It didn't go that way. It was a tough game. They played hard. They competed. It came down to the final few minutes. You can't ask for more than that. Kentucky wins it, though. They lead the series now 23-9. And more importantly, in the bragging rights between fans, they pick up one win in the all-time wins thing. I think it's 22-79 to 22-64 now. So KU could have cut it to 13. Instead, it jumps to 15. It's going to be hard to chase that one down.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's going to be another 100 years.
They'll never make up that ground.
No, we'll see. But 71-63, Kentucky wins it over Kansas. A blue blood battle here in the Bluegrass State. For Ben Smith, I'm Matt Tate. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra, and we'll see you guys in Austin, Texas in just a few days.